right, what is up, boys and girls? Welcome to Gootalks number 28. My name is Gootecks. It is the day before Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining me here on today's Gootalks. It is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are all thankful for all of your loved ones, your friends, your family, all that other good stuff. It is gonna be such a nice Thanksgiving tomorrow. All right, fuck all that. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about, I don't even really have a term for it, so the term that I best came up with at this point is social surrounding. And I don't mean like the people that you surround yourself with. I mean specifically the idea of getting your, like, let's say that you're trying to meet somebody that you want to do business with. And this is a technique that I've been kind of like working on, and I think it's going to culminate with like a book or at least a lengthy blog post. So recently I was tasked with the idea of starting a new live music streaming project. There's an event, a weekly event here in Los Angeles that I decided that I wanted to be a part of. If you guys have been paying attention to some of the recent work that I've been doing with Shakedown. Shakedown, of course, was a monthly EDM party at Exchange LA, which is one of the largest venues here downtown. And recently, bad news, the project has come to an end. Is this chat room dead? Maybe. The chat room, the project has come to an end due to a number of factors. So basically, now it's time to move on to possibly bigger and better things. So there's another weekly event that's going on, which I'm not going to name, just in case any of these people may be watching. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. But basically, it started with an email blast. And through this email blast, I got the heads up on all of the basically the announcements of this new event, as well as the lineup of the people that are going to be playing. And I was like, well, this looks like something that I think a live stream would really add some value to, right? So I replied to the guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in doing live stream for you guys. Are you guys down for something like that? Oh, and where did all my, is this thing on? What happened here? I don't even understand. This chat, oh, okay, all right, okay. Anyways, sorry, just had to make sure. So this new project comes down, and I emailed the guy. I'm like, hey, are you guys down for streaming? And he's like, yeah, tell me what the deal is. So, I tell him, a little bit about how we work out, the streaming stuff. And then I get no response. And then I send him a few more emails, no response. And I'm like, okay, clearly this guy doesn't know, like, since I am basically coming at him cold with no introduction, he's basically not giving me the time of day. So how do I go about increasing my success rate, right? Because what it comes down to is that I'm not new to web content. I'm not new to streaming. I'm just new in the music industry. Therefore, I haven't paid my dues. I have no credibility. But if I can just get a solid introduction from somebody, then I'll have a better chance of being able to do the project. So I hit up one of these guys that I actually met through Shakedown, and I was like, hey, do you know so-and-so from this company? Or do you know anybody at this company? And he's like, yeah, I know this dude and that guy. And we're just going to call these guys Bobby, and we'll just call the two guys Bobby and Greg. So I'm like, okay, well, I've been talking with Greg, but I haven't gotten anything back from him. He's like, well, you know, and so I asked him, can you like intro me to them, to one of them, to Bobby via, you know, via email? And he's like, yeah, I can facilitate a discussion via email. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound promising. Because when somebody says that, then I'm kind of like, maybe this is not going to work after all. So instead, oh, am I coming in low? All right, there we go. I'll turn myself up. Instead, shut up. All right. You guys are ruthless. Okay, is that better? Yes, they're totally playing Marvel. So I'm like, okay, how about you just send me a link to their Facebooks so that way when I go to this event tonight, I know who to look out for. Yeah, so he sends me a link to their Facebooks and I look and I have 2 shared friends with both Bobby and Greg. With Bobby, I actually have an additional 3rd friend. A friend who happens to be a very high-ranking individual at a new media company. So I do a little digging into Bobby's Facebook, and I see that the link that he has to his company's website, and I check it out, and it's like a marketing website, and then they have a list of all these clients, and the clients include guys like Skrillex and Hard and Logitech, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I'm thinking to myself, well, and this is where the term social surrounding comes from. Oh, and of course we lose. No? Jesus. Hold on. Hold on. Ugh. It never fails. I'm sorry, it's a little, I'm a little rusty. All right, we're back. We're back. So, where was I? I was talking about the idea of social surrounding. So basically, the idea is that if you're trying to get introduced to somebody, if you can systematically do your research on who they're connected with, then you can kind of get hopefully multiple people vouching for you. So for example, of the 3 people that we had, you know, mutual friends with, I'm gonna pick the guy that's like ranked highest in order to try to get the best introduction possible. Because if I can get a high value person to give me a quality introduction, then I have a better chance of being able to do business with them, right? So then that's where it actually gets really interesting, because Greg, the guy that I had emailed the first time that hadn't responded to me, I actually messaged him. I'm like, yo, dude, I got tickets for the show tonight. Let me know if you're gonna, you know, let me know if you have a few minutes to talk at the event. And then like I didn't hear back until like a few days afterwards, and he was like, oh hey, sorry, like I'm out of the country, but let's talk when I get back in December. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he messaged me again like 20 minutes later, and he was like, hey, by the way, I forgot to mention that I appreciate that you were willing to buy tickets to the show just to come and talk to me. And I was like, and he was like, I'll comp your tickets for this week's show. And I was like, whew, sweet, because I had a choice, right? I could have said something to the effect of, hey dude, like I want to come to this particular show to talk to you about streaming. Can you put me on the list? Or I could have done what I did, which was say, I'm buying tickets for this show and I'm going to come down, you know, let me know if you have time to talk. It's a very important distinction, the idea of giving before asking for anything in return, right? Like, I was willing to pay the money, which was, I mean, it wasn't like, I think it came down to what, maybe like 40, 45 bucks for the tickets, right? So I'm like, well, let me offer to get the ticket, right? So I'm not asking for anything from him before I'm able to at least give something in return. So I tell him, you know, hey, thanks for hooking me up with the ticket for this coming week, right? That's really cool. And then I get another email from a different guy, and this dude was like, hey, Greg told me that that you're interested in streaming the event. You know, what's the deal? So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So then I do some homework on this guy. And this guy was interesting because the site that he runs, or the domain that his email was from, was not either of Bobby or Greg's sites. So this was like a third party. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me talk with this guy. And so I'm like, all right, check out some of the work that we've done. And I sent him 3 links to some of the shakedown videos, right? And then he's like, cool, so is this something that you would charge us for? And that's where it gets really interesting, because, you know, talking about money and payment before you've actually had like a discussion over phone or email, because what I told the guy was like, hey, here's links to my work. Let me know if you got time to talk over Skype or email so that, you know, we can talk about the details, because I'm the type of guy that, like, I suck at email, right? I don't check it. I suck at writing them. I don't think that text really conveys all of the info necessary, and it's very easy. It's kind of similar to like when you're talking to a girl. When you're talking to a girl and you first meet a girl, right, you have like, let's say, and she's talking to you, you got like 100 points, right? And with each little thing that you say wrong, she dings you like 2 points. All right, -2, -5. Oh, you're still living, you know, you got no job, you live at home? Like, oh man, that's like -50 right there, right? So in a business setting, it's kind of the same way, especially when it's something that you don't know and you're dealing with this over email, right? You say, it's almost like a trick question. There's no right answer to, is this something that you're going to charge us money for, right? So I basically say, hey, look, you know, everybody's trying to make money. I got a team of 5, but I want to make sure that you guys are getting ROI. Otherwise, this is not going to be sustainable. So I didn't get a response back, right? And I'm like, okay, well, let me do some digging on this new guy. We'll call him Joe. So I Googled Joe. And the first thing that I find when I Google his name was that this dude is actually, as it turns out, a DJ whose work I am a fan of and actually went to see 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He put out this really cool mix for this online magazine, and I was so excited. Like, this was like the soundtrack to my summer, and I went and I happened to see him at the show, and I said what's up to him, and this is the same dude. So now I'm like, okay, now we're really getting somewhere, because now I understand completely why he didn't want to talk over Skype or over the phone, and he may even be hesitant to meet in person. I think it's because he has, it's almost like if somebody hits up me, if somebody hits up gootecks and they're coming from a different industry and I don't know them, I do the same thing. Like, you have to say exactly the right things to me over email, otherwise it just gets ignored if I don't know you. Like, no offense, but that's how it works. So this dude Joe doesn't necessarily want to make it known that he is actually his DJ alter ego. Yes. So this is kind of like a work in progress, but basically I'm trying to systematically like dig up as much info as I can on everybody, and then understand how I'm supposed to deal with them, because now that I know that he is this DJ that doesn't necessarily want everybody to know that that's him when he's dealing as from a business perspective, not an art or music perspective, you know, through his company. Now I have a better idea of how to do it, right? Like this would basically be, this is like, if I put myself in his shoes, like the inverse, if I was in music, like this would be my cross counter. Like I would have a, like, you know, whatever, like my gamer tag is gootecks, right? But when I'm dealing with business, I'm Ryan, you know? So, I don't know. It's interesting. Lamont Sanford 123 says, on your business card, does it say gootecks? Yeah, it does. For better or worse, actually, I'm really interested in, I'm gonna actually, once I start talking with this dude Joe and I can build a little bit of a relationship, then yeah, I will be kind of asking him how many people know that that Joe is actually DJ X. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The event that I'm trying to stream is a regular music event here in LA. Yeah, you know, it might actually make things more interesting to, because, you know, if you were new to gaming, you wouldn't necessarily know that Ryan Gutierrez was gootecks, or that Ryan Gutierrez from Cross Counter was actually gootecks. I don't know, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, but anyways, let's see, what else is going on? Oh yes, subscriptions. So I wanted to see what you guys thought about subscriptions. I don't mean subscriptions on Twitch. I mean membership subscriptions to crosscounter.tv. Basically, we have all this premium content, right? We got exhibition matches, tournament videos, Canada Cup, seasons beatings, Champ versus Chris G, Fanatiq versus Rayway. We got this entire library of stuff. We have this entire library of stuff, and we also have, you know, a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing with bar fights and streaming. Now, if we were to, let's say that we were to do this Twitch subscription thing, similar to what IPL does, NASL, Level Up, iPlayWinner, all these guys do Twitch subscriptions. The problem with us doing Twitch subscriptions is that, let's say that you guys were to pay a monthly fee to subscribe to Cross Counter, right? You would only get access to the live streams. You wouldn't get access to any of the existing content that we have, all the premium stuff. So in that regard, I'm thinking that it's going to be better to set up a membership site or a membership portion of the crosscounter.tv website where you have access to all the premium content as well as private streams. Private streams including basically this show, as well as special, let's say, special sets. Like, for example, you guys want to see gootecks versus JR Rodriguez in Third Strike? That would be something that would be members only. Or bar fights. Let's say that we're going to do bar fights every week from a different location. Then that'll be streamed on our site only. So it won't be streamed through Twitch. It'll basically be on our own servers with our own chat room and our own emoticons. The Baker Man says, I'd pay for a membership if you guys did inside the FGC with crazy cool camera work at majors. That's basically what we've done with all of the premium content. tutorials and excellent adventures. As how long the subscription lasts for the cost. I mean, basically it comes down to $5 a month or $10 a month, with maybe like a week free trial or like 2 weeks free trial, or maybe even a month free trial. But basically, like, the first step is going to be, let's say, making gootecks members only, but it's going to be like members only. Like, all you have to do is register for the cross counter site, and then you can watch it. So that'll still be free. But then you'll have like the next level of membership up, and that would include all of the premium content. So basically, like, I want to kind of reward you guys, because obviously anybody who watches this show is obviously, like, you know, you guys are obviously very smart, very talented, very handsome. Oh, you look great today. And hopefully, you know, fans of the work that we do here. So I want to kind of like give you guys that are most into it like a special, you know, special reward. Like, oh, only you guys get access to the stream when it's live. But then we put it on YouTube and everybody can watch it. But when it's for all the stuff that's live, whether it's bar fights or this or whatever, all that will be for members only. Some stuff will be for the free members. Some stuff will be for the paid members. The Baker Man says, could you get Dr. Sub-Zero to do a gootecks style show? Yeah, if we had a budget that we could work with, we could probably do all kinds of things. Jagino Gun says, could you possibly make different tiers of payment for longer spans of times? I'd gladly pay more amounts for yearly or multi-month subscriptions. Yeah, absolutely. Let's say it was like $10 a month. So instead, if you wanted to prepay a year, then it would be like 75 bucks, you know? So it'd be like 30% off or whatever. As G says, frankly, these streams are irrelevant. You have more people wanting excellent adventures and guest interviews / tutorials. At least I'll pay for that. Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Like, when we start this membership stuff, then it'll be much easier to execute all those things, because it's way easier to tell somebody, hey, you know, come down, do this tutorial, I'll pay you X number of dollars because I have this money to work with up front. And, you know, maybe it'll be other stuff too, like being able, okay, here, let me ask you this. For all of the existing content, stuff like running sets, excellent adventures, would you guys want to be able to download it? Because frankly, I would much rather have all of our content on you guys' computers, iPhones, iPads, Android phones, everything. I want the content on the devices. I don't want it only on YouTube, because then we're at the mercy of YouTube. Because ideally, then you would be able to, let's say, subscribe. We can make like a subscriber only podcast feed, so that you could subscribe in iTunes or whatever program you use to subscribe to video podcasts, and then all this stuff would be delivered automatically. Because like it depends. I mean, you could say, oh, like nobody downloads anything, but I download music, I download TV shows and movies on occasion. It just depends on whether or not stuff is available on YouTube, and whether I'm going to have access to the internet. You know, like for example, if you're on public transportation or you're riding to work, maybe you don't have, you know, high-speed internet on your phone. So maybe it's easier for you to just load everything onto your phone or your iPhone or your iPad or whatever, so that you're not dependent on the internet to watch everything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the file size thing is interesting. You know, for things like Excellent Ventures, like a lot of that stuff was maybe between 400 megs and a gig. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm judging based on Beansy2183 says, I just feel like the FGC has been conditioned to expect streams, be it live or YouTube. Sure, we can continue to do live streams. It's just going to be members only instead of on Twitch for a lot of the stuff, like especially bar fights. Bar fights is going to be, the plan is to do it on our own servers because like, I want to cater to the people that are actually willing to invest, you know, time and money into this. Like, no offense, but there's like a lot of people, a lot of stream monsters out there that are very casual, and they say they don't really care about the community in the same way that those of us that produce content like this do. And I would rather, let's say, have, you know, 150, I would rather cater to like a small group of 50 to 100 paying customers than, let's say, 5,000 people who are watching it for free that don't really care about like the players, the community, cross counter, or anything like that. Because if you're willing to invest, like let's say that, you know, we have this membership going, right? And then there's people who are willing to pay for it, right? Now, when those people say, hey, I want to see more of this, I want to see more Excellent Adventures, or I want to see a set between this guy and this guy. Well, now, like, okay, now your vote really carries some weight. But when you have like thousands of people that are just consuming the content for free that have all these expectations, well, it's like, sure, in a perfect world, all content producers could do nothing except for fulfill all of your wishes, right? But like, we're still all just regular people trying to do this stuff. So it's not really, what I'm saying is, I think we'd be able to produce more high quality content with this particular model. Lamont Sanford 123 says, put stuff up on the cross counter site a week or two later, upload to YouTube for the free content. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So the members would get like early access, and then everybody else that didn't pay for it gets it like later on. Doughboy Warner says, you can go a step forward and offer premium incentives, such as when you start Excellent Adventures, to fight premium members and give them advice on gameplay. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can set up sessions. I can be like, oh, okay, we have, you know, whoever, top player number 1, and he is going to play members in Street Fighter 4 between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific time on whatever date. And this is only available to subscribers. So sign up and whatever, we'll invite you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's much easier to execute all this stuff when there's like a just straight up budget to do so. Beansy2183 says, no, Twitch is fine, just make sure that there's a chat with loads of silly icons. That was the #1 complaint when Spooky left Twitch for own. Yes, so I found a web-based chat room that can be embedded in any website where all the icons can be customized. So we could put whatever icons we wanted in there, and it would work. Jagino Gun says, so you think offering a subscription program would allow paying members to sway the focus of cross counter? I like that idea, but part of me is scared by it. Well, hey, I mean, you know, in that sort of situation, we are basically accountable to the people who are helping to fund the content directly, right? So yeah, like, we wouldn't want to lose subscribers. So of course, like, we have to keep the subscribers happy first. Would there be a downside if you do not reach the certain amount of subscribers that would view this content? No, I mean, I'm sure we'll start with like a couple of subscribers and it'll grow from there. I'm not really too worried about it because, like I said, if we start by making stuff free members only, like for example, if you want to watch Gootecks live, or maybe the first couple bar fights are free, but you have to, you have to be a free member, and then once we get all the bugs worked out, then we can make it so that you have to, so it's only for premium members. Invalid screen name says, is there anyone out there in the FGC that does what you do / plan to do for free? Will your monetizing the service alienate you and $8.95 your reputation? Well, I don't know that there's anybody that does any of the premium stuff for free. You can look. I don't know. I mean, the model of doing all this stuff is like, the model that most groups are taking is put together a large event like a major tournament and then get X number of thousands of viewers and then bring in all of these sponsors and companies to either contribute prize money or cover costs or just contribute hardware. I am inclined not to do those things because of the sheer amount. Okay, like getting sponsors and advertisers to work with your company and your events, in my mind, is a full-time thing. So that is not what I am going to be doing, because I would rather spend my time focused on creating quality content that you guys out there want to see. I don't want to worry about working with some company that may or may not have the same goals that I do for the FGC, right? I don't want to have to spend all my time convincing whatever, like Chevron, that, this is, that them sponsoring bar fights is going to improve their brand and allow us to do all this stuff. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff, right? I would rather have the people, you guys, the audience, the people who already care about it, support it, and then be accountable to the people, not accountable to some outside force, right? Because if I'm only accountable to you guys, I just have to keep a small amount of you guys entertained, and everybody else can take what we give them. Yeah, I mean, just kind of going down the list of the type of content that you would be able to download with the subscription model. So we got Excellent Adventures, Running Sets, Third Strike Revival, Goo Plays, Gootalks as MP3s, playing with top players, let's say one top player session every week, as well as all of our premium content, Boot Camp with Tom Brady, Seasons Beatings 2011, Champ versus Chris G, Fanatiq versus Ray Ray, Canada Cup, bar fights, all this stuff would all be available to the premium subscribers. As G, put it this way, we're already programmed to think we are entitled to all this content for free. If you truly want people to subscribe, you're going to have to give us something extra. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Setting up sessions with players, getting stuff early, not a day early, but like a week early, being able to download everything. Because right now, the way, and if you think about it, right, like all of the videos that we've done, with the exception of Champ versus Chris G, have all been $10 videos. Now, let's say Champ versus Chris G is $5. So for the cost of one video, you get access to the entire thing. So, anyways, that is subscription stuff. Ah, yes, I'm your Pops94. Sounds like there's enough content now. The only issue I see would be, is there enough content coming in to warrant my continue paying? If so, then I'm down to subscribe. So if the plan would be to do bar fights every week from different locations, so we would have a series of exhibition matches once per week for you guys to watch and then download afterwards. I don't really care. Lamont Sanford 123 says you're gonna have to have eyes on YouTube for people ripping the premium content. I mean, it's all digital anyways. There's no policing anything. Yeah, I'm not too concerned with that because all that stuff is gonna happen one way or the other. So it'll be interesting to see how all this stuff rolls out, because in the next couple of days, probably in the next gootecks, the next couple of gootecks will be for free members only, so you're gonna have to go to the crosscounter.tv website. Anyways, moving on, I wanted to let you guys know, dude, I want you guys to check out Jack Threads. Basically, oh yes, hold on, all right, before, 1 second. Before we talk about Jack Threads, let me instead, hold on. John Boy 210 says, how's the chat going to work on the CrossCounter website? It'll be web-based chat, and you will be able to use the there'll be like emoticons and all that stuff, so don't even worry about it. Robo-Erotic says, how did you enjoy the free play bar fight style, or do you prefer getting the top player? So I want casual stations set up for people to just come and play and just drink and have a good time. A small section for people who want to play in, let's say, a high rollers tournament, because maybe the tournament is like $20 to enter, so we only have like 4 to 8 people, so it'll be very quick. And then, oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. And then, of course, have a couple exhibition matches for everybody to watch. Anyways, all right. So let's talk about Jack Threads real quick. Dude, I gotta tell you guys, Jack Threads is where I've been getting a lot of my stuff. As you guys probably have guessed, Black Friday is coming soon. So I just wanted to take a quick look on Jack Threads to see what I thought. Looked cool. So, and we'll just go through and be like, oh, this jacket looks cool, or this jacket doesn't look cool. Sometimes, you know, in Jack Threads, like all the coolest stuff, or the stuff that's like most standard, is the stuff that gets sold out first. But if you were looking for jackets, this one, oh, no medium though. Pretty snazzy. Anyways, so you can use that URL right there. I'm pretty sure, honestly, like if you were to give somebody a gift card, that would be dope. That's a great gift, I think. Speaking of Black Friday, you know, it kind of, for those, you know, I had a conversation recently with somebody who doesn't live in America, and I was like, you know, they run a small business, and I'm like, oh, so like, what are you doing for Black Friday? Are you, do you have like a sale going? They're like, no, I mean, Black Friday, like, what's the big deal? And I'm like, dude, you don't know about Black Friday? So for those of you guys that are watching that aren't from America, let me just fill you in on the gluttonous American Black Friday tradition. So basically, the day after Thanksgiving, which is traditionally celebrated with friends and family, with turkey and mashed potatoes and yams and cranberry sauce and all these nice things and pumpkin pie, the day after that, or maybe even 12 midnight or 5 a.m., depending on what stores you're going to, all of the stores will have huge sales, like 50% off, or huge deals on like electronics, cameras, TVs, computers, the whole shebang. So everybody, after they've been eating themselves to death all day, then waits out in the cold. Some people wait for days. Some people wait for weeks or more to get their hands on these super good deals. So that's what's going on. For those of you guys that don't live in America, that's a little bit about Black Friday. It's yes, it's like Boxing Day sales in Australia, sure, yeah. So I was like, hey, what are you doing for Black Friday? And she was like, oh, nothing, but I guess now I gotta jump on it. So in the spirit of Black Friday, hey, Cross Counter will also be joining in the fun. You can later, like tomorrow or the next day, whenever it gets all set up, you'll be able to buy an eightarc, a brand new eightarc stick, like one of these, and get all of our premium content as a bonus. So all the videos, Champ vs. Chris G, Seasons Beatings, Fanatiq vs. Ray Ray, the entire thing will come with your order. So I hope you guys enjoy that, because the idea of bundling videos with products is still something that I don't really see a lot of people doing. I Play Wesker says, Ryan, can I still buy the Cross Counter shirts from Broken Tier or no? I don't know. Why don't we take a look? Broken Tier's Black Friday sales event, midnight Eastern time. Ooh. Okay. Oh, the Daigo collection. Ooh. Available on the 23rd. Wow. All right. Didn't know about that. Oh, wait. Hold on. Where's the... Here we go. Oh, I see some Cross Counter shirts. I like it. I like it. All right, guys. We can do a little bit of Q&A for a little bit if you want, or we can just call it a day. I'm starving, and I'm gonna head to Wednesday Night Fights in a little bit. What do I think of these boots? Let's see. Oh. You know, I'm not really so much of a boot guy. Maybe I'm wearing the wrong type of pants or something. Shano100 says, is the eightarc your favorite stick out at the moment? Yes, it is. I've been playing on eightarcs for pretty much all of this year, and they are my favorites right now. I'm pretty sure your boss can make that up. Meta Regress says, how do you think the size of the FGC affects attempts to monetize it? Well, I can tell you for sure the size of the FGC affects my attempts to monetize it, specifically because if the audience, okay, for example, perfect example, if instead of majors getting 20,000 views concurrent, they were getting 200,000 views concurrent, then the advertising model may be more viable, right? Because you would be able to do the same amount of work and have 10 times the results from the same amount of work. Instead, since the numbers are so much lower, I would rather focus on the small percent of people that have jobs, appreciate the work that we do, and want to contribute, rather than try to focus on you know, 5 to 20,000 people that just don't necessarily care all that much. Let's just put it that way. McStylen says, whatever happened to Goo Plays? Goo Plays will be coming back pretty soon. Don't even worry about it. Did you ever get Makoto to B rank? She is well on her way. I'm going to Wednesday Night Fights just because I heard that they were going to have Marvel because they're not, you know, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so they're not going to do the run back. So I feel like there's going to be a ton of people there, and I was just going to go to say what's up, you know, wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, since a lot of people will probably be there. Pantstronics says, think we can grow the FGC to Epic Sports Center proportions. The commentators to everyone involved is great and would be awesome to parlay this into a variety of full-time positions and careers. This is the vision that I've had from the beginning, so yes. But it's not going to come if we continue to depend on external forces in order to succeed. Being able to be more self-sustainable and not rely on external things, like for example, I want to be in a position where we can do bar fights every week in different locations with great players from all over the world with zero assistance from anybody else. And I believe that that's totally doable, but it requires a shift in models. Pyrenity says, do you think showing female players have an influence of increasing the numbers of people getting into the FGC? Certainly, if there were more girls around here, there would probably be more guys. Of course, the issue is that most women don't have the sort of drive and competition by default inside of them that most men who enjoy fighting games seem to have. So either we need to... I mean, what can girls really do around here, right? I mean, sure, they could play, but I think if girls were wanting to play, they would already be playing, but I don't really think that most girls are really too competitive in the same way that men are. Women are certainly competitive in their own right with other women, but not in terms of like, oh, I'm going to beat your ass at Street Fighter. That just doesn't really happen. You know, other roles that women could fill that aren't really being filled that much. I mean, they are here and there, but stuff like interviews, commentary, overall web content, that stuff is certainly things that girls could be doing, but for some reason, none of them really are. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough. All right. All right. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be able to do a quick show tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Tell you guys how thankful I am for you guys. But in the meantime, stay hungry. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Say hello to your family for me. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.